I like the way you're talking about that. Like, when I played World of Warcraft, we didn't even have mouse.
Well, you should hear him
it
talk
took
about...
us 2 hours to confront the Horde.
You should hear him talk about EverQuest. It's even worse.
Yeah, EverQuest. Like,
we didn't have any of these instances.
I'll share one EverQuest story, right? I was like, I have 2 EverQuest stories. When I used to play with my friends.
You see what you did, Phil?
Yes, I did.
I used to play with my friend Ian. My friend Paul used to tell us all these epic stories about fighting people in EverQuest, and in my mind it was like something like World of Warcraft, but in reality it was EverQuest, which is like still to this day 20 years in the past. And I remember I had for the first time found this boat in EverQuest because, you know, like it was such a daunting world because that was my first MMO experience. You know, it was a lot of people's first MMO. That when I ran all the way to a boat, the idea of taking a boat to another continent was like totally frightening experience to me because I had no idea where it went. I had no idea what to expect when I got to this other continent because I didn't check the internet at this point for like just to tell me where to go. So I would arrive in this new land. There's no maps in EverQuest, so I didn't know where I was going. I would explode this fucking town.
It's like Anthony goes to communist Russia or something.
And eventually I found my way out of the town and I just started running down the road because generally on the road there aren't too many monsters. And so I just started running on the road hoping that I would reach another town. And eventually, at some point on my run to the road, I got attacked by a fucking snake and it killed me. And so then I respawned at my hometown on the other continent. So we're talking like 4 hours. And when you respawned, you didn't have any of your gear.
That kind of sounds way better than like World of Warcraft or you know any sort of like massive multiplayer game that would cater to your needs for fun. Like, I kind of hope that, like, 50 years from now that people play world games where it's like, you know, it's like in the 1400s and you're like going to be an explorer and you real time, like, get into a boat and sail across the Atlantic. And
so you check in with your friends for, like, 6 weeks.
And all you do is basically, like, fight off scurvy with little mini games where you try to eat oranges or something and...
Yeah, I mean...
I think that sounds awesome, because then, like, the investment is huge. You're
investment is...
It took me so long to get here!
The investment is huge. Like, I remember at the time, like, nowadays in EverQuest, like, people wouldn't even bother to pick up bronze armor. But at the time, bronze armor was utterly amazing. Like, no stats, just bronze armor. Like, it just had some armor rating. Yeah. And I remember me and my friend had managed to save up enough money between the two of us that we had acquired full sets of it, so we were running around these 2 gold dwarfs. And I remember we saw this dragon, and so we were like, I was like, let's try and attack it, man. And so we attacked it, and we both got killed. And then I had a date with this girl, the one serious girlfriend I ever had in high school. And so I had to bail. But we had both died, and when you died in that game, you didn't turn into a ghost. You respawned as an actual person, and you didn't have any of your gear. So you just had to go find your body and get your gear back. But we didn't know where we had died because the zones at that point seemed so daunting to us that we just had no idea where we had died. And there was no map, so we couldn't like just know that we died here. So I remember I was on my date, and I was making really expensive cell phone calls because of the, you know, it was in the past, and I had a cell phone for emergencies only. And I was still calling him up during my date, like I would go to the bathroom and be like, hey, did you find our bodies? Because we were going to lose, because after like... Because after like 6 days in EverQuest, if you didn't find your body just disappeared forever. So I was going to lose all this armor.
Just in case anyone's worrying, I can tell you, even though Anthony and I have never talked about this, but Anthony definitely did not get laid that night.
And also,
it's almost certain.
EverQuest was
possibly ever with that girl.
EverQuest was such a ball-breaking game too that like there was another time I remember I fell off the boat riding from one continent to the other, and eventually.
How do you fall off a boat in a game?
Because I was being dumb running along the edge, and
no running.
And I fell off the boat. And my character got so tired he eventually drowned. And so I drowned and my body sank to the bottom of the ocean. I had to fucking pay a necromancer to come out to the ocean with me and summon my body to me so I could get all my gear. I remember I almost wanted to cry in like real tears.
This is the kind of shit that makes me
I call shenanigans all that almost.
This is the kind of thing that makes me wish that we could sort of transport someone from 100 years ago into this room and make them listen to you just to see the shock on their faces of having absolutely no idea what it is that humanity has become. Like, what the fuck is this guy even talking about right now? I have no idea.
I mean,
all this MMO talk, our
EverQuest
is about to explode.
EverQuest was a problem of mine for a long time.
Yeah.
So
I love the fact that you have to distinguish between real tears and like digital tears. Like, what's the
I'm gonna be sad too because there was the one time in life that I remember for my birthday that same year. That same friend that I played with all the time. For my birthday, he got me 2 rings in EverQuest, and he paid real life dollars for them on eBay.
Oh. That is really kind of gay.
I'm watching Robert's respect for me tangibly drop.
No. I think that's really sweet, actually. That's nice.
That's really romantic.
Dude,
It's
Anthony,
great.
this is the guy who just told us that is the best day he's ever had in 3 years.
Yeah.
And to be
Sounds like you were on the
and
wrong
for point of
date with
fact,
the
I
wrong
did not
person.
get laid by that girl ever.
Ever. I can fucking guarantee it. Like, I guarantee that it was never even really remotely an option.
Okay.
It's true, but it was mostly because she loved Jesus so much.
Oh, man.
That's what she told you.
Jesus is such a cock blocker.
He's a pretty terrible wingman.
I remember in high school when we... Like, I
I remember
remember
with the blasphemy again.
in like 11th grade, we had some
we get
speaker
in
come
trouble
out
for
to
this?
talk to the entire high school. Who
Awesome.
his whole thing was like about abstinence, and his speech was focused almost entirely on making girls cry for their innocence, and I think that that was such an absolute clampdown on campus for months. You know, like every girl on campus suddenly was like 14 years old again, you know? It was really brutal. Anyway.
Like, what, all of a
And not
sudden
those
every girl was
slutty
like, well,
forties.
I'm not
girl
going to be a whore.
Yeah, every girl felt incredibly guilty. Every girl closed up shop. It was like a sexual recession. Everyone was fired. We were all jobless and sort of employing ourselves constantly. Not that
And people would hear like stories like, I heard that Nancy's giving workout on the docks today. And you're like, 20 people show up.
yeah, no doubt. It was fucking brutal. Like, you know, girls that you'd been working on for months, you're back to like, you know, over the pants shit. It was like the 50s. I am 30 years old. I should not be even talking about this stuff, right? I don't think I'm ever going to grow up. It's a fact.
Fucking, we're not that far
I've been
behind
married
you
for
in age.
5 years, and this is how I am.
We're not that far behind you in age, most of us. So
Yeah. You
All right,
are.
let's take
Anyway.
No,
let's
I
take a
prefer
quick
to
break.
think that I am.
Let's take a quick break.
Give me my illusions.
No quick break! Fuck your break!